Going live. You're live. Hey, beautiful people. Thank you for waiting. Yes, indeed. We're getting like cheeky, like kind of rock stars and making you wait. We don't mean to do that. 83 of you already. 23 likes already. Thank you so much. So, back in black. I wanted to put on the AC/DC, down, 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 and bang it out with the black outfit, the Doomsday kit. I needed one of those black hats as well to bring in the theme of today, the lockdown morbidity bites, and the black stuff, oil spiller from Manila. Wow. USD ruble. You heard it here first yesterday. Now Mr. Cramer, Jim Cramer of CNBC, comes out today and says he thinks oil may go down to the 20s and the sub-20s. I say to you, Jim, where were you before the gap of $9? You're late, my friend. This is the second leg, and we called the second leg yesterday. And the first leg, 18 months ago, 6 months ago, 3 weeks before it happened. But never mind, better be late than never. After all, you are one of the most watched financial pundits in the world for your pro-pump economy, your pro-pump SPY to the moon, your buy the damn dip heroism. Yes. Indeed. So we have Jim Crane. We have Skynet on today. Hello, Skynet. Augmentum ad populum. Thunderstruck. He wanted Thunderstruck from AC/DC. They are furious blockers, actually. If I played a single bar, this whole video would have been blocked immediately. Australia loves you, mate. Thank you, bud. And to all those good old boys from down Australia way. It's all okay, mate. It's all okay. Let's nosh on a couple of roux burgers and we'll be just fine. We've got it all under control. Anyway, yeah, thanks for the summed up. SDM, saving is not earning. Best part of this house arrest is seeing you every day. That's very cool. Nailan Naidu. I got criticized. I said the amazing nation of India, the land where they have the sacred cow. And some guy came on and called me a racist. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Never, never. Too much amazing Indian talent, brightness. I went to computer programming. I went to computer programming school. My Indian buddies pulled me through it. Let me tell you, they saved my ass. I should never have got that diploma. My South African Indian buds, they were patient with me. They were way smarter than me. They dragged me by the scruff of my eyebrows and got me through that damn thing. I'm trying to get through it. So let's not have another word of it. So two, the Far East, and two are Americans that are now awakening. They are now awakening indeed, and some of them are freshly awake. We've got some friends in New York that have been leaving some really cool comments. I've seen the pictures, the morbidity, the post-nuclear fallout, streets, a lunarscape, devoid of even a sewer rat, not a single movement of life. But hark, out in London town, on the parks, your not so friendly Bobby on the beat with his van and megaphone saying, "It is a lockdown. You are not supposed to be lying in the park sunbathing. This is a lockdown. Go home." Boo, you Stalinist spoiler. They're just a scattering, well apart, unable to contain, unable to even infect anybody remotely apart from someone they're probably already living with, having a small little lie in their vitamin D deprived state in the park as a long winter comes to an end, unable to contaminate anybody, and your friendly Bobby on the beat comes and shoos them out of the park to go home. Oh, and then I saw also Derbyshire police. You are supposed to do no non-essential activity. Walking your dog in the Peak District is not deemed essential activity. And they have their little drone footage. Remember those Remember those? Boy, how we shall all come to loathe the drone. The day of the drone. It will never be your toy. It will always be state's implementing tool of active surveillance, observation, and beratement. So there was drone footage of a man and his wife walking a dog in an absolutely empty heathland, and he was to be berated for his activities. What a Stalinist little society we have created. The Bolsheviks of the greatest Hollandor that saw more than 20 million Russian and German-based Russian and many other largely Christian and Orthodox Christians being murdered by the Zionist scams, the Trotskys, the Lenins of this world, and the Stalin, for which many people did his fake anti-Semitism suspect was in fact of that similar ilk. Yes, we have this new world Bolshevism coming at us fast and furious, beautiful people, fast and furious. So you had a little trade yesterday, did you? How did you do? Well, I'll say so much. I got a little bit jumpy about my oil, but we called it short yesterday. Got a little bit jumpy about it. Thought should have broken by now. It eventually had and did. Later this afternoon, was it? USD ruble in its falling wedge has crept out. Did any of you make anything? Maybe. Good luck, good luck, good luck. Your free view of entertainment. 337 people, 84 likes. By the way, we have lots of little catchphrases. We're thinking of sneaking out a teensy-weensy bit of merchandise because we get excited that people wearing stuff with silly, cranky stuff, we might say, or drinking coffee from such a coffee mug that may say various things. So I've given approval for the technocracy around me to offer a t-shirt, a coffee mug with more to come. Let's leave it there, but have a little look, see if you like. Buy a coffee mug, drink with the reset sniper, dress in black in lockdown mode, and inhale one of the few left delights as you sit in your homely prison, confined from walking your dog in the park. Wow, it is the day of the time. So what else have we got for you? Well, the good news from Bloomberg, aka that billionaire that blew a small fortune in a matter of weeks on advertising, probably with his Google and Facebook mates, with a failed attempt to become president. Bloomberg, that news agency that displaced a little bit of market share from Reuters, the Rothschild news agency. So you can see why he was so excited to meet David Rockefeller and Jacob Rothschild. Go look for that magazine when they said, despite being wealthier, he was ever so proud. He said, if only my father could know that I am meeting both these legends of finance, despite being richer, absolute bollocks, being richer. He was speaking to the control structure himself, and little did we know, he ends up a couple of years later in a presidential run. Isn't that fantastic? Well, what does Bloomberg say? Pollution is down. Yeah, a big thumbs up for a major lockdown and a pandemic. You never thought you'd see the bright side, didn't you? Pollution is down. Air quality is up in Rome, up in Paris, up in Madrid, where millions are homebound because of coronavirus. Isn't that beautiful? We've got to have a little lashing of greenery with this morbid event and day. You see, there's always a silver lining when you're the control structure. And I wonder how many devices that are being stamped right now as your domicilium of residence, as everyone is sent home and told to stay home, and every mobile phone company tracks your movements where you are 97% most common range bound over the period of 3 weeks, and comes to the conclusion that this person is domiciled there and has you tracked for some future later taxation domicilium event. because you're meant to be at home and you're 3 weeks to spend the bulk of it at home. And if you sleep, you're already spending 50% or 40% of it at home. And now they got you out of the office and not working. Well, they should be able to pinpoint everybody by mobile number, by Google IP, by absolutely everything. Isn't that intriguingly useful? Isn't that intriguingly useful? The coincidences of pandemics. I'm here to remind you, kind people. I did a tweet exactly, and I mentioned this last time, so I'll be quick on this, but the key point is the following. Excuse me. On 6 occasions over the past 50 years, that's 5 decades, on 6 occasions when the 3-month yield, that's on treasury bills, when the 3-month yield exceeded that of the 10-year, exceeded that of the 10-year yield. So the 10-year debt should have a higher interest rate it pays. It's longer term. When the 3-month dips below that, it's a yield inversion. It's a yield curve inversion. And the recessions normally follow 311 days later. Now, every time that's happened, in the last 50 years, you got a recession. Every time that's happened. In short, I'm not a genius. I'm just going with the 100% hit rate. I'm saying, hey, it's got a 100% hit rate. Let's go with it. We're in a recession in 311 days. Now, I posted this tweet March 22, 2019, and I'm looking at it now. And 311 days from that would have been around about 45 days ago. 55 days ago, which is around when the coronavirus already sounded. Now, I already noticed that revenue in all areas, because I speak always, I'm this annoying guy that's always fascinated and wants individual anecdotes of economic performance. If I'm talking to the shop owner, I always ask, how's business? Up, down, busy, less busy, worse than last year, better than last year? It's a couple of short quizzes. I conduct a poll forensically wherever I go and across industry, not just off the pizza man, not just off the hairdresser, off anybody I have time to kill while I wait for a product. And guess what? Many told me they were making layoffs prior to the pandemic. In other words, we were in the recession we haven't yet got the data for prior to this pandemic commencing. And it only really got started in the Western world in this year, and probably only from February and the second half of February. But we were already in a recession. December, Jan, post the Christmas sales. Things were not as good. The high season was not as good. Everything was not as good. We were already in a recession. Quickly they rushed the cover story. Cometh the hour, cometh the suitable pandemic. What a useful little brains child event it is. Because let me say this much, there is biometric testing. There's biometric testing that will tie vaccinations and distancing and being scanned every time you go to a shop. There's now a reason for a scanner. There's a reason to see if you've been vaccinated for future pandemics similar to the coronavirus that cause so much damage. And you could pass it on to an elderly person if you refuse to have it. So it's no longer about protecting yourself. It's for the greater good. Remember, I warned on the previous live stream, the greater good, the law and rule of the greater good. This is the narrative of communism. End of personal freedom, end of personal movement. It is for the greater good. I want those sunbathers in that park, back in the park. I want to tell the coppers to piss off. I want to see other people enjoying personal freedom because I intend to enjoy mine. And taking them all away for the greater good on a pandemic that they may well have created themselves, may well have proliferated themselves, that they have brought to destroy small businesses so that they all are beholden to government. The only person who can save you now is government. And they calculated, fine people, they calculated that $18,600 per American has been proliferated. And they send the American one check of $1,200. And the other $16,400 goes to a much smaller number of megacorps in bailouts. and you pay the full 18.6 in currency dilution. But they make that notional little contribution so that you can say, we've remembered and thought of you. And that corporate will pay political contributions out of that same 18.6 that will help vote back in those same people that bailed out those same corporates. And you will have those crumbs that are brushed from the table, whilst paying the full dilution fee that goes with the proliferation of the better part of $20,000 per person. And hark, the scale. Above $70,000, you do not get the full 1,200, you greedy man. Albeit you pay 35% tax in the United States, the USSA, as my friend calls it. My American friend, I hesitate to announce you, he calls it the USSA. Yes, you will pay tax. You'll be paying far higher tax than that little contribution and that huge cost you're carrying. In other words, it's all about further impoverishing. It's the great leveling. And as I said yesterday, it is the dough being rolled flat. The great leveling is not about lifting anyone up. It's about taking the middle class right down to the lowest common denominator. Yep. Let's talk to you. I want to do a slightly different one today. Some of these things I've already mentioned before, so we don't want a looky-likey stream. Portuguese living in UK, says Luis Moreira. We get another 8K or so if we stay out of work for 13 weeks, says LPS Warrior. Believe you me, you are being diluted far more than the 9,200 if you happen to get it all. And that is, never mind the forms, the call, the hassle, and everything, the jammed phone lines, big long queue. Please wait, we are experiencing large volumes at present. Please confirm your status. Make sure you have your social security number, yada. Who cares? I don't want to be part of that. I will not take their money, and I do not want their patronization. I will assert my freedoms, and I will make my own money, thank you. I am fully capable, and I am a libertarian, and I seek small, diminished government. Of course, the Economist harks the great moment that government has stood up and seized the mantle of control of what is now a global issue, a pandemic of global significance. Yep, how could we? Got hold of gold yesterday. Think the window is nearly closed, said Sad Belly. I think this is good times to get hold of gold. Start queuing. The truth we don't drink. Stood in line for toilet paper in the Latvian SR in 1989. See it in America now, says Gundar Stumbris. Indeed. Hi to Sniper from the Netherlands, Rotterdam. Yes, hey to the Netherlands. Great support from the Dutch. Massive thank you to the Netherlands. Small nation, but excellent linguists. They speak a smorgasbord of languages, from German, French, Italian, Spanish, and of course English, better than most Englishmen, and then throw in their home language as well. So linguistic kings of the universe, I consider the Dutch. Great to have you, and thanks for following. As non-first linguists, we are delighted to have you. China's number on the viruses are so fake, says Lee Merton. You may well be on there. I think everyone's numbers are fake, because as long as you haven't tested everybody, how could you even have an accurate number? Try get a test, by the way. People in England saying, wasn't it grand that Prince Charles, by the way, all your control structure figures, anyone who's come out and has been outed is a celebrity or a public figure with coronavirus, is declaring himself a control structure figure. That's my take. Prince Charles, Trudeau, XYZ footballer or football coach, almost all of them. I'm not saying there aren't anybody with a true pandemic virus, and some folk, there may it certainly well be, but I'm especially suspicious of high-profile people that feel they have to announce. Boris Johnson of the UK has come out as well. Friends of Israel he is. member thereof. Recession time, maybe 3 years or more. So yes, it's going to be a long recession because they're going to force this one into a full-blown depression. They're going to basically make it impossible for anyone with a small business to survive. That's part of the game. So we gut the small business people. We then make them dependent on government. So government in UK has announced we will do 80% up to all self-employed individuals, up to £2,500 a month. So not exactly flying, given the costs of living in UK generally and London specifically. They'll do up to 80% of that once you've proved that that is in fact what you make. So think of all the usual paperwork, will and everything. It'll be more involved than applying for the dole. And this now makes government the provider of last resort. They create a pandemic, they proliferate a pandemic, they become the provider of last resort. We all become reliant on the big kidnapper in chief. We are all behest with the pandemic that is Stockholm syndrome. We cuddle up to our captors in the hope that they will like us more than the other man come culling season. That there is Stockholm syndrome. Yeah. There's no test for COVID that you can take. The Mickey Mouse CVR test will just test for corona, which is anything, which could be any form of flu. That, says the emu cat, who seems like he knows a lot more than me on that aspect. DXY will be strong again. Eurozone will disband. Now, Brexit. Didn't we have a great start with our Brexit coverage? And isn't it convenient that Barnier and Johnson have yet to finalize a deal? Yet to finalize. And events, dear boy, as they say in London, events, dear boy, have superseded this and brought a greater crisis that sees a greater need, that sees resources towards this unseemly matter that has bled on for some reason for the better part since 16 to 20, undecided deal. Oh dear Britain, it seems you remain tied to that EU mast, according to all agreements. Supposed Brexit, many things still implied. The blowback, the great blowback of the Deutsche Bank and Commerzbank collapse and all the dollars that will be needed. Some of the biggest recipients. So Troller Coaster tells me, I read, isn't it funny, that small business owners who claim they earn 12K a year to HMRC are now wanting to claim payments from the government. Yes, that's pretty much what I was saying. I think that might be a tax level though, 12K a year. So you don't pay tax up to 12K generally. This chaos is good for us traders. ATRs are huge. Some currency pairs over 600 pips. Yes, the currency markets move it. If you are a home-based online trader, this is a great time. There's no change in your lifestyle. You jump in the pool, you sit at your computer, you eat well, you feast, and you create coupons, new coupons in your banking account that you hope to hold on to. My suggestion, cash them in for real money while you still can, aka gold and silver coins and bars. Lemon and water juice, just perfect for soothing my COVID throat. The Erstry Masters will be lenders and buyers of last resort, says G-Man. I fear he is correct. Tax is theft, says Crypto King. Mickey, options are going crazy with the volatility. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It's my best 3 week, says Chris. Well, I can say to you, I have had a phenomenal week with the thanks of our great leverage providing broker and some exotic currency pairs. It has been a phenomenon, which is unlikely to be repeated anytime soon. Delilah Amiano. Hi, Sniper from Pennsylvania. Hey, good luck to the Pennsylvanian peoples. Local people are so pissed off, and most of us want to be back at work, but most local places are closed. We were told only 2 weeks, and now they are extending. Yes, they are capturing data and watching your movements. They have an idea for sure where your home is by now, I'm afraid, as with all of us. Gold is God's money, says Chris. Yes, indeed. Daniel Morlan, what trades to place today? Now you see, you expect me to feed you, don't you? Feed you once, dependent you become. But I am like government. I give an occasional perpetual, non-perpetual. I give an occasional bailout of trade, and then I see if you really appreciate me. For within, there is a greater community that must be served, that is paying and earning and respecting. And for now, I have nothing further to announce of any great trade. Maybe we'll see come the end if I have anything to commit. But you were given a great trade, and it remains a great trade. The USD ruble, the weakness in the oil. We have Horim setting fire to the chats. Yes. Propaganda has been used on citizens to convince them that other citizens are begging to be on lockdown and out of work. Yes, we all beg for our imprisonment. Save us, government. Entrap us and extract our freedoms from us. How unlikely is that narrative? Hi, Francis. What's the recovery strategy for after the reset? That depends for how well you play the current reset, the lead into the reset. The truth was, financial preparation was needed when I started this YouTube channel in 2009. I started this YouTube channel, Find People, with 3 people. And I think one was my mum. No, I'm kidding. It wasn't her, but I started this YouTube channel in 2009, where I had like 1, 2, and maybe 3 people. And it went from 4 to 50. Now, I'm far from real YouTube great, don't get me wrong, but even 30,000 is great for me. And you have seen 2009 to 2020, you have had your 11 years of preparation. Normally you get 7. You've had 11 years of prep. How well have you prepped? Have you created a cash generative business? Did you live within your means? Did you accumulate bullion? Did you get into crypto at the right time? Did you make some money in crypto? Did you keep? It's not what you make, it's what you keep. Did you keep some money from crypto? Have you continued to build your business, accumulate metals on a monthly basis with a debit order or a direct debit? Have you killed all debt in your accounts? So how you come out of reset is part of your pre-game. And now we're in the actual game. The real match has started. The actual collapse match has started. And your government is playing a blinder. They are very, very key adversaries, very skilled. You would almost think they had the script that on a great recession, and we never do simple recessions anymore. The last one was called the Great Recession. Anything but call it what it was, a depression that we never fully got steam back on, and a reflation attempt of a depression that went on for years. You had to rebuild your bits and pieces in this very barren land. You had to farm in the desert and churn that soil and get some fertilizer in there and nurture and feed yourself, your pre-game. We are now in the collapse game stage. And let me tell you, there's going to be some surprises. As much money as we may make trading, we may keep none of it because there might be a big zeroization of all banks. There might be a mysterious hacking virus, the evil Chinese, zeroizing all banks. Oh dear, we have to start again. Killing all debt, who knows? Bail-ins, as I mentioned, and I don't want to recap all of the previous stream, we need new topic. But bail-ins, taxes, wealth taxes, all sorts of things. I'm not sure how much we keep during this match game because they can change the rules. How do you start as a complete beginner? I have stumbled across this channel and I find it fascinating, but honestly, I have no idea where to start. Am I in the wrong place, says Zap. We start right at the beginning. We call it the beginner module. We start with technical analysis. In some words, not being misinformed on the values of moving averages, crappy indicators, and many other things is actually an advantage in some ways. We can help you. The links are below. Book a call, have a chat, and learn. But remember, it's a journey. It's not a single trade to riches fantasy. We all start with that. I started with that. I absolutely started with that. I wanted money for social standing and a nice car. Who didn't when you're 18? Will we need to hold our goods for years, or will there be a moment when they peak and it becomes better to trade them in? I think you're talking on metals. And someone else, I lost that chat. It's moving so quickly. Hey, Francis, what's your take on Singapore as part of last resort? I'm thinking about leaving Germany since it's a prototype of Bolshevik behemoth. You will not be the first. I'm surrounded by people who are in Germany that are fleeing the draconian, Stalinesque German government that is removing rental, market-determined rents in Berlin and levying maximums. My God, the socialism of Germany is enough to make you sick. It's obscene that they managed to produce great products. It's a tribute to the German workers' personal self-pride that in spite of this absolutely horrific government that they have done as well as they have. Francis, I had a call booked with you today. It's not with me. It is Chris. You should check your email and you will have a link and you will be able to chat to our amazing trader and HVF trader of great skill, trained by me. And you can ask him about his personal experience. He was once you, as with all our people. They were once traders that came on board. So you will still have that call. Please don't miss it. Even if you have to jump off this live stream, you can watch me later. Go and grab your call. He's keen to hear from you. And you will have a link with a GoToMeeting link on it to chat. Where are we, says Mobeen Ahmed. Where are we with HYG? When do you expect the USD's Korean won to skyrocket? Do you expect a new currency to emerge after the crisis? Electronic money? Shall we expect any wars? There's a lot of questions in there, Mobeen Ahmed. You're going for the family pack, aren't you? When you didn't buy one toilet roll, did you? You bought a family pack, 5 times as much as you could carry. Fair play to you. Okay, so HYG, reinflation. I expect either a bear flag rally in a channel or a rising wedge. Reinflation. In fact, I would like to add some more shorts at along the way up. If you have any doubts about how it triggered, that's the one that was the javelin from the roof straight down. It ran its second interim, so it has a rally in HVF method. You will learn and you will know that there was an interim target. You will know to expect a rally. This is part of our theory. There's a whole bunch more backing it up. The only way you can find out so that you can answer your family pack of questions is to get the skills. And if you want to have a sniff first before you buy, have a chat or grab the free mini series below. The other questions, Korean won. Yes, it's had a long period coming back. You will understand that dollar is not going to be permanently strong. It can't have all the emergings falling out of bed before it's ready for its final solution. The new financial world. We have been thinking, and we have this electronic money that we would like to introduce. Smells a lot like blockchain. Here's FedCoin. Yep, all sorts of things could be coming. They have it waiting in the wings, ready to introduce to you. So that's part of some of it. Will there be war? I'm for all the 4 horses coming home. And you're busy experiencing one of them in the pandemic lockdown. During this period, the AI bots are collecting every little droplet of information. They've now essentially forced everybody into browsing on the internet their particular interests. They are profiling like mad. You naughty people, you listen to that man with a face for radio, with a complexion that has been beaten by the years, and the hairstyle of such low maintenance. We have tagged him as an irresponsible, divergent individual with a very slow social score. It seems you like to hang around with bad sorts, place a black ribbon on your name and mark you as a potential divergent follower that does not see the largesse of government and its kindness towards you. You see, the government cares about the old people. That's why we all have to stop working. That's why we have to crash the economy. That's why you all have to lose, half of you have to lose your jobs. That's why all small businessmen must lose their business and become dependent, because we want to save the old people. We really, really care about the pensioners in this over-leveraged, failing pension financial pyramid that we've created. We really seek to save them. It's a sad fact that our manufactured virus, the virus that just happened to come about, is so cruel to the old people, and we're going out to save them. And that means you must stay at home, where we can identify where your home is. And you will Netflix, and you will watch sport, and you will do whatever you typically do so that we can properly profile you. Yes. So that is Mobeen Ahmed. That is some of the thoughts I have. Korean won will come strong, but first the dollar rests. First it gets strong, then it rests. You don't announce 3 trillion and stay strong. No, that was a little bit of proliferation there, my good friend, Mr. Ahmed. That means there's a lot more dollars around. Supply, demand. Increase the supply, reduce the value. It's economics. But don't worry. It'll get worse again, and the dollar will come strong again. You've got to roll with the punches. The market does not give you straight line outcomes. HYG is as good as it you get. A break from your relative high 3, right the way through to triggering, right the way through first interim, right the way through to second interim in a single month. And now we complain that it does a little bit of a rally. No, sir, this is good. This is good. They want you to have more shorts. They give you a window of opportunity to punish it further. The Great Reset is only just beginning. There is more debt and more carnage required. In fact, they pumped the stock market right now. Some of the best rallies, I warned, occur in the crash season. Some of the best rallies, I warned, occur in the crash season. My camera wants to keep putting me in and out of focus. I don't know what to do. I'm hoping it'll sort itself out. Some of the best rallies, and they aren't the kind of rallies you want. In fact, we've had 3 days in a row that it rallied harder than it did in, wait for it, 1929 and 1987. So we've taken out record sets in 1987 and 1929 for strength of rallies. How badly should we be doing it? This is starting to bug me. I'm looking all out of focus. Come back. These webcams are too smart. I got a smart one, and now it just seems too smart at all. So that's your problem. Stocks will probably turn down again, and that'll be good for HYG. It'll be doubly good for debt. They're going to have to remember, we haven't really started the financial part of this collapse, guys. I'm here to tell you, it's all about the pandemic. COVID-19. I'm so sick of that word. I just say pandemic. I don't go into the coronavirus, COVID. Don't want to hear that word. Don't even type it. Too much use, repetition. It's a scam. I smell a rat. I smell a stinky fish and a rat. I smell a sewer rat and a stinky fish walking down the street together, in fact. Anyway, so first, it's all about pandemic, lockdown, the loss of freedoms. They need to create the lunarscape for, I think, a little bit of inoculation later, because we may never interact with public in the same way again. Masks will become the new norm. Vaccinations, proof of vaccinations. How could you not forget your proof of vaccination? Well, maybe if it was embedded in you and could be scanned wherever you shop. Maybe there will be new technology at the gateway of shopping centers the world over. Right, let's move on from Ahmed's family pack. Shall we expect any wars? I'm afraid so, yes. So if you get something viral, particularly viral, where different people have all forwarded to you, this is probably something, like a video that's stitching up the Chinese. The Chinese did it. They want to buy all the shares on the cheap. They've crashed it. It's their virus. Wherever one nation is villainized, a kind of racism strategy, they are creating a villain for maybe a later war. They've done this with Iran. They've done this with Saddam Hussein. They've done this with South Korea. Whatever happened to Kim Jong-un? Isn't he the worst man in the planet? Wasn't he planning to take Sony down? What was that horse manure narrative that the nation with literally one computer and that was switched off the day the computer viruses were going around, is now supposedly taking Sony down. Remember, there's always a villain for the moment. They'll switch and swap and bait and gate and run and ramp and talk nonsense. So when you get something that villainizes one particular nation, be very suspicious. It means that there is a warmongering drum. They need the support of the masses if they want to go to war and cause pain and debt and heat in the economy. Paul Krugman loves a good war. Economically, it is great stimulus. Ergo, World War I and II after the 30s, 29, 30, 33. Yeah, very fascinating. World War I, of course, before that. But the dip, the World War I didn't quite achieve what it was meant to. So we had to slaughter a whole bunch more of our youngest and create debt and sink ships and do many other interesting things. So, come back. Camera, come back. Here's the face. It keeps making me blurry. I'm like in the Matrix. I'm just a spirit in the movement. I'm sorry. Can't seem to get it to come back. It's too clever. New fan, says the Alan Pirate. Good for you, Alan Pirate. Thank you. Are you guys liking and sharing? 242 likes of 644 tells me that there is quite a high percentage of liking. Good. It's your light behind you. I know. It's the light behind you. I've got an expert there. You can see him in the bottom corner. I should beat him for the cause of all of this. Bring the sjambok. The sjambok is an African whip, a rubber whip. Francis, what's your short-term target for the yen? So there was a third trade we gave you yesterday. Going back to that. USD ruble up, dollar oil down, particularly Brent we referred. And we said short the USD JPY with a bit of weakness implied, all of which have gone as planned. So we're pretty lucky, 3 out of 3. We kind of like the control structure, which gets its pandemic just at the right time. You know, it proves that it's, just a coincidence, doesn't it? Just a coincidence. No method, no planning at all. We just got lucky, like the control structure, 3 in a row. My thumb up is on record. Hey, NSA, bite me. Yeah, I like that. Good man. Tell him. Joe Black, screw the banks. Yep, I relate to that. Thanks for the video, Francis. Mickey's, he likes that. Market fundamentals are out of the window right now. Moody's rating, yes. So, good point, Simon Edge. Thank you. Moody's rating. Well, Fitch. Fitch is a rating agent who competes with Moody's that Simon Edge is mentioning. And Fitch determined that America was in excellent economic health and that its AAA rating was to be unmoved and remained on a positive standing. That is Fitch. The rating agencies. I mean, it's just not even original. These are the guys that lied and were politically expedient in 2007 and 8, and they're still around, and they still expect people to listen to them. Isn't that almost comical? Let's see. Pollution is down, we told you. Isn't that lovely? Bloomberg so cares. Nestle staff control structure. This is the CEO who says the rain that falls on your roof does not belong to you. Catchment thereof is not permitted. And goes upstream and grabs your lake water to sell you bottled water in plastic that bleeds plastic agents into your water. Nestle staff to get full salary for the 3 months where COVID-19 halts work. Of course. You are part of a too big to fail mega corp of satanic nature. The long lines and stacks of ash urns greeting family members of the dead at funeral homes in Wuhan are spurring. Funny, a particular Chinese agent of quite high standing walked with security guards through the area of Wuhan, and the Chinese translation of all that was screamed at her from the buildings was fake news, fake lies and contempt from the citizens. Why are you perpetuating this ruse? That was the Chinese. They didn't use that language. They used Chinese language. And a a kind gentleman of English Chinese extraction translated it. So who knows? Who knows? Hans Danzig is back. Hans, you sound like you are from the socialist state of Germany. Maybe Poland, who knows? Do you still think the euro ruble is a short? We never thought euro ruble is a short. Euro ruble is a long. That means long the euro, short the ruble. So euro is the base currency, ruble is the term currency. You go long, that means you are a buyer of the base currency and you are a seller of the term. That is long. And when you set back, you rebalance and you get square. That's square. Okay, so going long euro ruble is a bet against the ruble, in the same way going long the USD ruble is a bet against the ruble. So yeah, just to avoid any confusion, Hans, let's get our story straight. You're allowed one imprecision as a German. That's your imprecision for life now. Now you have to be Germanically accurate on everything forever, till death do you pass. Otherwise, you will remove your Germanic certificate from you and you'll just be an ordinary person. Aqua Lover, Francis, what is your target in the DXY? I have no DXY target because it's measured against things that don't interest me. I prefer measuring it against exotic emergings that are in trouble, which have lots of dollar debt. Why not? Why not? We want to make pips. So I have no look yet at the dollar index. I have no view on target, but I expect the dollar to increase against most currencies, with the possible exception for a while now, the yen. Hi, Francis. For your knowledge, will precious metal mining stocks go down with the markets or up with gold and silver? Up with gold and silver in time, but they may lag. Up with gold and silver in time, and they may lag. I'm going to steer this away from the lights. It's driving me batty, this focusing in and out. Soros is keen on the Chinese. He's up to his ears in this, I'm sure. So Soros is keen on, Bolshevism generally. So anything that is draconian and overrule is going to be something he's fond of. When you hear Soros, you may as well think the spirit of David Rockefeller or any of the Rothschild family. That is why he's keen. CIBC Bank in Canada raised their premium on silver from 30% to 80%. Wow. Methinks there's a shortage. Jurgen Klopp for PM, if Boris kicks it. Yes, as a Liverpool fan, that is my favorite German right now. He's very popular in England generally, and with Liverpool fans specifically, and with me. I actually like him. He has a sense of humility about him on things he doesn't know. He avoided, when given the line, lecturing anyone on COVID by admitting he has no competence there. And that's an honest and forthright thing to do. If Trump gets the virus like Boris, will it tank the US market? No idea. I think it will just be a gossip story. In fact, the presidents, at the end of the day, don't really run the country, as you probably should be aware by now. The nations are about to be judged. There will be an invasion on the country from the north soon. Why don't you let us all into your Noah's Ark, Francis? Waive the bait and switch fee and let us in all for free. Yes, why don't we all work for free? Why don't we all work for free? And who values anything they get for free, I remember? Who truly values versus the man who saves and has a real goal and finds a way to work his way in. The whole thing is about you. Sometimes you have to pay to stop smoking. That's why people go to smoking enders. They want to show they're serious and they want to give energy and have all the skills and all the techniques to bring something to an end, like trading losses and smoky, dirty habits. Will USD ruble break 80 resistance line? I expect it to run into the 90s and possibly beyond. So we gave a target and it's in the 90s. So that will mean most certainly 80s. Hi, Francis from Andorra. Andorra, yes, love the Andorra. And you have a special kind of sheep that give us Andorra wool. That's about as much as I've got, apart from some cushy tax arrangements as well, which I'm a big fan of. Anything that does that. Long-time follower. Good to you. Thank you for your support. Keep up the good work, he says. Thank you. I'm starting my own country in Northern California wilderness. Wiley, yes, good man, do it. We might all come and buy a plot if you can secede from the draconian USSA. Do you think inflation or deflation is coming next? So there'll be another level of fear. The financial fear is yet to happen, guys. You need to be, first we obliterate your businesses. We must, if you work from home and you're self-employed, we must remove all your income. And we must stop anybody from buying anything because they're all sitting at home and they can't use anything. We stop all economic activity to try to obliterate your business. That forces you to be, even capable people, to be reliant on state. So we remove independence and we create dependency. This is the game of Bolshevism and communism. So government is the purveyor to all. You all have to then hear and listen to government decree. You can't go say, I can self-fund, I can do this myself, I will do my own pension, I will do my own this. I need you not. Because when you need them not, they have no power over you. They don't like that. So they must break everything around you till you need them. Then they are happy. Then they have the right to expand government further, because there are many people that now need government, more than there were before. They need to hire more people for government, and government becomes the economy. That's it. Apple, says Barry, anytime, have one, my friend. It's good for you. It's rehydrating. It's good for the kidneys. It's properly good. Will dollar kill the pound? So we're failing from the emergings. Then we go into the second tier, which is kind of Australia, Canada. Australia's already failing. Canada's in the process of failing. We're waiting on the one. It's broke its triggering level. It's now had its first pullback. We call that the break, the feign and break. So it breaks and feigns back in. That's one stage. The next stage is we run our first interim, and maybe you get a second chance, the first dip back. And then the third stage, and this is HVF method theory, because we have 5 stages of a breakout, is capitulation or moonshoot, which is a very strong parabolic move. In this case, as the USD Korean won, it'll be a parabolic upside move, melt up, we call it. So melt up or capitulation. Because it's USD first, it is actually a capitulation of the Korean won, but it will show as a moonshoot. Digital dollar still in the plan soon. Yes, they're coming. You see how the real world is merging towards blockchain and crypto, which is why we are on our amazing t-shirt and coffee mug that you can buy now while stocks last. You will see both the reset sniper, the crypto sniper, and of course the method, the market sniper, the 3 overlapping circles for which the sights, the accuracy of the sights go straight through the middle on that overlap area. So yeah, so that is it. UK Brexit was a mistake. You need France, etc., to cure you with chlorhexidine. I don't agree that Brexit was a mistake, but it's not likely to be agreed and finalized with a deal anyway, and this whole collapse has now superseded it. So never really fully got done. If I gave you 100K right now, how would you invest it? I wouldn't invest it, I would trade it. Very few things are for the long haul at the moment. So here's what might happen, even on metals, because you know we are a fan. We know it's the assured, one of the few things that are assured that won't disappear. Well, if they create enough fear and lock up cash and nobody has enough cash, the metals can dive down. You've seen it once already. At that second interim, you saw how low silver went. Wowsters, you got down to $10. Yeah, it's true. So the key thing is you've got to be careful. You've got to invest without leverage, and that's a long-term hold. That you can hodl. Trading-wise, you have to be nimble. Where there's leverage involved, they can shake you out. Francis, says Chris, Japan is in recession. How can we expect the yen to be strong right now? It's the least ugly girl in the ball. No one said anybody's good. No one is good. It's a relative assessment. Who's the least ugly chimpanzee in the ball? You have to go home and mate with one of them. You look for the one that has the least purple, swollen backside that looks like a festering boil. That's the one you have to take home to mate with. It's the least ugly baboon at the ball. That's what you need to do. And it's a difficult Hobson's choice, as you can see. I don't mention it with any great relish. You look at those festering backsides and you take the cleanest one home. And let's be clear, it's a loser's prize. It's just how bad. Yeah, you don't like that parallel. Well, I'm a bit naughty that way. But as I say, winning prize is 1 week in Lagos, and second prize is 3 weeks in Lagos. You've got to decide, how do we do the least damage? And the yen is a saver's nation. It contains and saves all its own government's debt. If you look at it as a currency against gold since 1969, and that chart, it is significantly higher, although they've all lost value to gold. It is significantly higher than both the dollar, both the euro, which had German mark and other nations in its proxy prior to the formation of the euro, and the pound and the Swiss franc. So it is a stronger currency over those decades. And it is in its demographic tail point where there's very little consumption. And that's what determines recession. Nobody's buying much stuff. Well, ask me about their relative wealth. And let me tell you, those are savers. Those are disciplined savers. There's how many hungry people go under a bridge, and are there thousands of guys pushing shopping carts, Japanese guys pushing shopping carts? The police are bored. This most serious crime they get to chase is jaywalking and panty sniffing. This is the nation of Japan. People don't attack and beat people there. They're civilized. They are gentrified. They earn, work, and live within their means. You say to me, why do you say this currency? Because it is less bad. It is the handsomest ape in this ball of primates. That is what I say to you. And that's why I say, if you have to have a fiat, it will do okay. When do the pitchforks come out? That is dependent on you, Father Lucifer. Unfortunately, I think we have been drugged and dociled into inactivity. I'm extremely disappointed. We need a bit of that. We had someone from France here. We need some of that French verve. We need to go into the streets and bring the country to a halt. By the way, how's that got that miserable man-child, that second man-child, almost as bad as the Trudeau man-child? How's that got our French president off the hook, this pandemic? How's that stopped, finally, the yellow vests protests? We need a little bit more of yellow vest protesting, a little bit more of negative feedback for clear-cut control structure figures. We need adverse feedback events to occur. Something that makes it uncomfortable for the people that are perpetrating this against us. It's time for them to feel the pain if you want it to end. If you want to slow down their aggression with implementing. It's time for the people you determine behind this to get some feedback from you. As long as you squeaketh not and push back not, they will continue to grind you under the wheel, and so they move forward. This is up to you. There's no space for one man's sacrifice. And by the way, revolution was part of the Four Horsemen. So mass mobilization, warfare, pandemic. Can't remember the fourth one, but revolution. They kind of separated mass mobilization and revolution. But unfortunately, the Bolsheviks are controlling the revolution and what gets situated in it. You know, you need the real implementers like Lagarde and Soros and others to start to walk a little uneasily. We are at the bottom. Is it time to buy cruise stocks, airlines, and hotel stocks? Ouch. There is a man in the room that catcheth the hot falling knife, not just the normal falling knife, the brazenly hot one from the anvil of battery. It has been hit so hard, it is glowing red, and it is falling, and you seeketh to catch the handle. And I say unto you, Attempt it not. We are not yet begun the crash. So big is the final solution, so big must the pain be. The pain has not yet begun. I remain short HYG, despite it rallying, and I will add further to the shorts as resources make themselves available to me, which they are. And I will continue to play the great destruction of the old for the bigger scale solution that will replace it. 620 people, 309 likes. That is almost exactly 50%. I do like 61.8%, the Fibonacci number. I'm good with 38.2 of you being indifferent. Like if you're 38.2 and you go, yeah, all right. I would like 61.8 to like, come on, yeah, he's doing all right. You know, that I made money on the USD JPY short. I made some money on the USD ruble long. I made some money, 3 out of 3 guesses, just coincidence. I shorted Delta. Yep, airlines could be, but don't be too late either, especially when they come with rescues. You can get, as I've already suggested, you need to be early with the short, and then you've got to be able to sit out some of the strongest rallies led by trillions. If only we knew that the internet was a weapon when we first released it. Now most of society rely on it. Oh, that's what they do. The convenience of the chip in your hand or forehead will be insurmountable, It'll be so easy. You'll just climb in your car and you'll be known. You will just walk into shops and turnstiles will swing open. You'll just pay and it'll all be deducted. HYG will go through 49 for me, and I actually expect huge overperformance, potentially to near zero. So I'll only close 50% when we run 49, and it's at 76 yesterday. I don't even bother to look at it. I know my state of mind with it, and it's doing everything. How on earth is Japan the least ugly girl at the ball right now, says Chris. He's not buying my baboon analogy at all. They are the least ugly baboon at the ball. The least festering backside. What do you think about short ETFs like SJB? I know not what SJB is, so I daren't comment, and I'm not clear to me what's in it. GBP has gone from 116 to 124 in only a few days. Knocked my gold for a 6. Not sure. Love to know, but, says Wayne Jizz. I don't know what that's about. Clayton Rabenda. Should I short myself or use devices like SJB? I don't get that. It might be a joke. Should we invest in Picasso? Art? No, I'm not a fan. Can get damaged and stolen. Why you all keep asking about BTC? How do you expect him to know where BT is heading when the world just shifted off its axis? We're not in 2019 anymore, says Tristan. He is a bit right. Cryptos have been a bit dull, but they may come alive. We are watching remits on them, but no big views, no clever big views. I think nibble accumulates, but then if we go through another major fear phase and everybody rushes for cash a second time, it could dip a second time. I don't think it'll be able to generate as big a fall, but we don't know. And at the same time, in the meantime, it could squeeze and have upside breaks while we are proliferating currency. Thanks for all the great info. Greetings from Belgium. Yes, Belgium. Nice to hear from you. Hopefully I can still find some physical silver to buy. SJB, Pro Shares Trust, short high yield. Okay, so it's a high yield. We're a fan of shorting junk bonds, basically. But it matters when you enter. It does matter when you enter. And we were in very early. Russia equals low debt and gold. Why ruble weakening? Reliance on oil, for one. Also a financial enemy deemed of America, and still an emerging, so thin currency, and not a great, it's a huge number of people, but as an economy size, it's not that huge. So it's relatively small for its land mass and its population size. So it doesn't have a lot of foreign reserves. It does have building a good amount of gold and cleared out its debt. So it's far from the worst economy, but I do think it goes 100 because there'll be, Sam Graham likes the analogies, +1 for that. Thank you. So Oliver, the market sniper, how much is this to join? Book a call. Got to check, have a chat, and it's very friendly. Take the time to find out the details. Also tell us a little bit about you. Everybody, before they come on, it's nice to know who you are, and we've had someone chat with you, made sure it's well explained and given you proper information. It doesn't take long. It's not painful, and you can also get a load off your chest about your experience in the markets. It's really, really useful. The link is there. You can chat, and if you don't go forward, no one minds, no one cares. We're happy to give you time of a very nice, very experienced, great trader who I have immense confidence in. He's got a great handling style. I listen to recorded calls. You know, we don't take risks with that. So that is Horim, and he's in our community and a trader, and has been through his own experience, which he can share with you, both the highs and the lows, so you can talk. You can watch Uncensored on YouTube by searching, Brazilian waxing. Somebody wants you to know about Brazilian waxing. Forex is immune to pandemics. If you bought USD ZAR months ago, you're a gazillionaire right now, says David Weru, who likes Catlock quite a lot. Calibra, attempting to make the world one stable currency. Yes, I think there'll be a bit of that. Is that the end for fracking? Is it the end for fracking? US needs the independence of oil, so I think they'll keep doing it even if it's sub-economic. So it's like QE to an industry that shouldn't exist. Those will be supported. That's it. Okay, good, guys, good. We will talk again to you tomorrow. Maybe we'll have an opinion on a market. In the meantime, we've had an opportunity to see the USD JPY sell off. You've had an opportunity to see the Brent sell off, and you've had an opportunity for the USD ruble to run. In the long run, we see, as I say, 90s, but it may have pullbacks in between, and you need to have common sense. If you're oversized, it'll hurt. Okay, that's it. Enjoy some merch if you feel like it, but it's really not important to us. Only if you want it. It's for those that want. We are a freedom, libertarian channel. Do only things that make sense to you. Don't ever do anything if it doesn't feel right. And this is a few. There's no compliance. No, you must go home, leave the park. No, not around here. Okay, good to chat in with you guys. And let's see what tomorrow brings. Maybe I'll have something interesting. Maybe I'll have something interesting for you. With that, I say goodbye and thank you for attending. 584 of you right now, 373 likes. Really happy with that. Thanks. Share it to one other and grab the links as you need. Scandinavian Capital Markets, 100:1, European based. In the links below. Wow, have we made out like bandits on Palladium, on Ruble, with the thanks for that. Great to do. Get around the restrictions placed on you by your control structure. Grab their link as well in the link below and fund. Be patient. It takes a while for the money to reach the Scandi banks. But once you're in, you're up and away. Okay, bye for now, gents. I'll catch you later. All the best.